everyone, I hope you're good guys, and welcome for the part 2 of this series where I explain my Ableton Live template Industrial Techno 2. So if you haven't checked the first video, I do recommend to check where I explain each single track individually and how they sound and how it's been made. And today we're gonna focus more about the arrangement and the master. So the track is pretty simple and pretty straightforward, and the main structure is like this. You have, let's say, what I will call part A, which is here where the synth will come, the main lead will come slowly. See if I put automation. So then you have part A where it will be playing like this. Then you have what I've called the verse, which we can call part B as well. And it's the part where I want to get rid of the main lead because, you know, you don't want to listen to it too much and you want to have a little bit of changement in the track. And so this part is more like a percussive part where I introduce PERC 2 and PERC 3. And there is this very hard hitting snare as well, which is... Alright, so even if it's the verse, it's still keeping hitting hard, and especially with the PERC as well. And then after I reintroduce the main lead slowly, and then after we've got the second chorus, and here is the part I will call like A plus B, because it's basically the A part with this lead and is the B part with this PERC loop, and they are both together, so it's A plus B, and they are all playing together, and just then the drum evolve, and that's basically like the main part, the main thing. Then I bring the right. So that's basically the big main arrangement idea. Obviously I introduce things smooth here, as you can see. Like I start just with the kick and the PERC, and then I will introduce the drums, close hi-hat and open hi-hat, and I will slowly put the main lead as well, slowly bringing it until here I've got the main lead where I use a low cut to kind of short break. So you see, I don't really like I didn't really want it for this kind of track long break, because it's just keeping the it's just cutting the energy, and it has to keep going like relentless. Has to be, I mean, that was how I wanted the track to be. So that's why the break is just like a low cut where I bring the filter up and I build like this tension as well, like this. So just before the track was still, the filter was still going up, and it's going up and up, and filter is going up, GK as well a little bit. So that's something I like to do. It's opening a lot the filter, and then just before to drop, bringing it back down. And I don't know, it's given nice impulse, and I add a little bit. I add as well the rights coming from that moment where the sound is dropping. So you see, for the track, the break, I really wanted to keep it simple. No SFX, no, like even on the master, no SFX like I like to do. Just a low cut, keeping things straightforward, simple, a little bit raw, you know, like not too much element, not too much things, like, yeah, like keeping things brute, raw. That was the main spirit. And then after, same, you've got the second ride who is coming to add a kind of little variation. In the meantime, the filter is playing. And then we arrive at the break 2 where I get rid of the main lead, and I will get rid of all of the hats and the rides, and I will bring the snare to kind of bring the second part of the track. So that's the noisy part. Then we got the break 2. I introduce the snare, bring the tension. even more industrial brutal part coming here. So here to help the transition, I use it here actually as well. This return effect, which is just a delay and a reverb, and which is kind of similar to my riser rack. And I like to use it to send elements, especially drums, before the sound to drop, and it's just helping the transition to be a bit more smooth here. And it's the same here, you see, I use it with the lead as well, and I use it with the snare as well, so making the transition smooth. And yeah, then very raw, brutal. I introducing the PERC one after the other. And you can really see like how the kick, this PERC loop and the snare and the PERC, how all they are interacting to each other. It's if you check the MIDI, these are both two off beats, and then you got the snare on the kick and the kick at each beat, obviously, and then you've got this PERC loop, which is it's got this so if you play. So yeah, by putting things like this, you get this nice groove, nice read. And then after, I just bring back, like I said, the leads, and it's the part A plus B, the chorus, which is kind of the main part. And you see this one, it's longer. Usually, I like to change every 8 bar, but this one I keep it 16 bar without changing anything. So just the filter is modulating here the main lead, and then yes, I introduced the ride to accentuate this momentum effect. And then I've done this kind of chorus bit here. I wanted, before to finish the track, to add a kind of weird variation where the kick is basically playing a weird pattern. What I've done basically it's supposed to be one kick here, and this kick is supposed to not be there, but I've put it just a little bit before and one like just after, so the kick's supposed to be there, and I duplicated it, put one before and one after, and this is how you get this kind of break kind of vibes. Alright, so yeah, it was just like to add something different, try something different as well, because I've never really done something like this before. And then we go to the final break, where I will get rid of the leads, and I've called it kind of verse 2 because you still have a lot of PERC playing, so it's not really the end of the track. I would say it's like a kind of bridge between the main track and the end of the track. It's not really the outro, but because there's still a lot of going on, but it's kind of very energetic. And then obviously slowly I'm gonna start to get rid of each element here, like some adds here, the PERCs. Then I get rid of the snare to finally have something like this. So pretty basic arrangement honestly, but it's work, it's straightforward. Just one thing I forgot to show you is the MIDI of this lead. The thing is, because it's like FM modulation, just pay attention to the pattern, like the intervals and how the things play, but the note itself is not like it's more like kind of deal with this weird FM-ish sound. Alright, yeah, that's it. Then the mix down, I just have this low cut that I'm using for the break. I mean, like to the, no, it's not really break, but kind of to cut things and to bring transition and stuff like that. And then I've just this return I explain you is mainly for helping the transition, because I told you I don't want like too much SFX noise and stuff like that. So that's helping to smooth the things without sounding too much or too cheesy. And then let's have a look at the master. So now let's go to the mastering, and I'm gonna quickly showing what kind of a mastering I've done. But before that, yeah, I forgot to talk about mixing actually, but if you watched the last episode, you see I explained you a little bit how was my mindset. I've done a lot of surgical EQ, which is kind of in the middle between being sound design EQ, but as well being, when I was doing them, I always keep in mind like, okay, I need this to sound like this because I need to make space in the mix. And so that's why it's like all this kind of weird EQ is I'm usually getting rid around 400-500 to get rid of this moody frequency. And that's what I've done here, over there, a little bit everywhere, and boosting frequency that was really important for each sound. Cutting what I didn't need it, obviously, if it was too much in the high frequency, and yeah. But they are kind of, as I told you, it's like kind of in the middle between. They kind of are changing the tone of the sound as well. So, you know, it's like I told you, when I EQ usually, I always EQ you in the way like, okay, about the tone, like changing a little bit the tone and the color of the sound, but as well keeping in mind that I still want to have the sound as clear and as clear as possible and as good as I can now, you know, without having to EQ again back after. But this, if you're familiar with my video, you know that I like to do like this, EQing on the go and shaping the sound as far as I go, and just on the end adding some EQ here and there to really make things work well together. So the sound without master sounded like this. Sorry. Okay. So the thing is, what happened, I think I start to master a little bit during the live stream because the song was finished, and because usually I do the mastering after the live stream, and I think I start with the EQ, but I'm gonna start here with the utility, and it's just the bass mono. This, you're familiar with this, to keep everything under 120 Hz down and in the mono. Then a glue compressor, just to make everything's glued together. Alright, and that's great as well because it's clipping a little bit as well. So it's gonna add this kind of wave shaping distortion to the signal, which is working great for this kind of track where there is a lot of already saturation and distortion and whatever kind of effects will make things crispier and crunchier. And then we have this EQ8, so this is a big stuff. Just listen to it. Quite changing the tone of the track a lot, and yeah, that I've done it during the master, trying to understand which frequency was disturbing me, and like you see, it was here around 150, and which is probably actually around the one I cut, yeah, in the mix. No, it's not exactly the same, but there is always like resonant frequency around there that I don't like, and here as well. These two frequencies, I think they are very I don't know, I find when I just remove a little bit of that, like the track is breathing a little bit more, and obviously it's gonna be accentuated by this boost here. And yeah, a boost here, like always, you see like this. Lister boost, usually I never go more than 2 dB, I always stick around from between -2 and 2 either if I want to add or remove. But yeah, and then here maybe to here, because probably the lead was a little bit still too aggressive, so I wanted to reduce this, and did saturation to add harmonics, a bit of loudness as well. So here is the same, because of this kind of track, it is very industrial, very saturated and this kind of stuff. I'm not scared to go a little bit further in the settings. You know, usually I would have this kind of saturation. I rather like to use it subtle, but for this kind of track, I don't mind. You know, I can go a little bit over. It's not a problem. It's fitting perfectly with the kind of track, so that's right. And then after 2 limiter, which is basically just gain, and it's nothing else. All right, and I think that's it. But yeah, the EQ is a very important part and very underestimated part of mastering, I think. But that's really important. That can really kind of change the tone, global tone of your track. So yeah, always be subtle, try things, see what is working, what is not working. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So if you like the track, if you like the template, if you want to support me, you can get the template, the link in the description. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, Sky, and see you next Sunday. Bye bye, guys.